Leanne Graham. Welcome to Victim Assistance Program's annual Angel Tree Ceremony. We're sorry we're not able to be together this evening like we had in years past, but safety is a priority. If this is your first night attending our event, welcome. You are not alone. Had we been able to meet together like normal, you would be surrounded by over 200 family members and loved ones from individuals who have lost their lives over the last 20 years. It's really important we come together on the first Monday of December, as we have been doing for almost 27 years. This event makes us remember. Tonight we are going to share some hopeful messages. A victim advocate from Victim Assistance Program will be presenting, followed by an individual from Portage Path and the Grief Place. Then, like tradition, we will showcase our program slideshow, showcasing photographs of those who have lost their lives as well as individual names, because we have not forgotten. We welcome you to come to the Akron Public Library throughout the month of December so you can pay your respect. Visit our Wall of Remembrance and you will be able to see those individuals' photographs and our individual trees that are displayed, adorned by the individual names of those who have lost their lives. We wish you the best this holiday season, and we are always thinking of our community that are struggling.
What a unique year this is to talk about grief. There are just too many types of loss that are happening. Most of us are here, though, because someone has died, and that certainly is grief with a capital G. But there are many other griefs that cause similar feelings of loss. Relationships die, health issues change our lives, jobs are lost, property is stolen, COVID concerns keep us away from loved ones and rob us of our usual routines. Grief seems to be everywhere right now. All of the events I mentioned bring on intense emotions. All of those create change in our lives. All of those are things we wish had not happened. Many, like homicide, suicide, a tragic accident, or a fatal heart attack, create sudden changes. They shock us. They do more than pull the rug out from under us. They pull up the floor or even remove the basic foundation. Grief hurts. Sadness, anxiety, fear, confusion, depression, anger, and other unpleasant feelings move in. If the issue that created the grief happens unexpectedly or suddenly, shock might be the primary emotion for a while. That grieving person might be consumed with the word why. Or maybe the survivor of the incident feels like they too have been victimized by what has happened to their loved one. On the other hand, if the event had been building for a while, the grief could be complicated by another whole set of feelings like relief or revenge mixed in with other reactions to a loss. It is important for us to understand that when a situation creates grief, things will be different from that moment on. We have lost someone or something that was a part of who we were. Life has changed. We have changed. Most of us like to be in control of what is going on in our lives, but grief changes that. We find that it is all consuming for a while. The loss is all we can think about. We may even be worried that we can't manage our emotions anymore, as tears or angry explosions control us instead. We want things to get back to normal, and we don't want to accept this new normal. It is uncomfortable, it is unfamiliar, it is painful, and we just plain don't like it. But the pain of grief is different for everyone. The intensity of the pain, past experiences with grief, your age, your gender, your support system, your spiritual beliefs all affect your reactions. There is no right or wrong way to react. There is just your way. Grief is very personal. No two people experience the grief process and the recovery in the same way. And yes, I do say recovery because most people do get through the grief experience without getting stuck in it forever. Getting through the experience may mean telling and retelling your story until you don't need to tell it anymore. It may mean staying away from people who tell you what you should think or feel or do. If that happens, it discounts your feelings. It takes away your right to your own emotions. Getting through it may mean counseling. It may mean life modifications. It may mean being kind to yourself. It may mean talking with others who have similar experiences. All of those, one baby step at a time, can help a person walk through the grief and not be stuck in a painful place forever. Seeking help in an emotionally painful time is just as important as getting help when we have physical pain. To create an analogy here, many of us have had some kind of physical pain that created the need for surgery. The surgery left us with an incision. That incision hurt, and it may have immobilized us for a while. But with the right kind of help, gradually the wound healed, in spite of the fact that it left a scar that may be there forever. Physically, we can get to the point where we go on with our lives in spite of the fact that the scar remains. When we are healing from a physical experience, professionals suggest rest, good nutrition, and exercise. Those same things can help our emotional healing too. When we lose someone or something, grief moves in, and the pain we feel from that is unreal. And just like with physical pain, we may be immobilized for a while. Our hearts and minds may feel shattered. But just like with our physical pain, we get to the point that we need some help in managing the pain of our grief. It's not a weakness to ask for help. We do it with physical pain. Why not do it with emotional pain as well? The scars of grief may be there forever, but we can learn to go on with our lives in spite of the emotional scars that remain. We each need to give ourselves permission to grieve, and grieve as hard as we need to, but then permission to live again as well as we can. Healing does not mean forgetting or disrespecting who we have lost. That's a real fear that many people have. It does mean that in losing and in healing, we find a new way of living, a new respect for life, as we pay tribute to the person we have loved and lost. Right now, we are entering a season of hope. And my hope is that the season also brings a sense of peace to each of us as we lean on each other to find both hope and peace in a future where both hope and peace may seem to be missing. Remember that although taking baby steps may seem like a slow way to heal, those steps will eventually get you toward your destination and help you find that peace that might be missing now. The wound will heal, and life will go on, even with the scars.
Hi, my name is Mo, and I'm a victim advocate, and I work in the Detectives Bureau over at the Akron Police Department. I just wanted to say thank you so much for tuning in and watching this. The amount of grief and sadness that Summit County has faced this year, along with the years in the past, has been insurmountable. And I just wanted to say thank you for allowing VAP and my advocates and me and all of us to be a part of your journey. I'd like to start with a quote. It's by Elizabeth Kluber-Ross, and it says, "The reality is you will grieve forever. You will not get over the loss of a loved one. You will learn to live with it. You will heal, and you will rebuild yourself around the loss you have suffered. You will be whole again, but you will never be the same. Nor should you be the same, nor would you want to." With that being said, I hope that this event and this video helps honor their memories. And you walk away with a little bit of sadness, but you walk away with also a smile. And thank you for allowing me, the other advocates, and this organization to be there for you through the steps of this whole process, from the beginning all the way to the end. And so forth. We're always here, and we're always here for you.
I'm Becky Costello-Bolgren, and I work and volunteer at the Grief Care Place. The Grief Care Place offers free peer-led grief support groups and programs to people who are grieving due to the death of a loved one, to people like you. And I've been asked to talk to you today about grief and grieving during the holidays. Now, I'd like to tell you that you will enjoy this holiday season and that you will have a good time, but that's probably not going to happen. But I can tell you that you can survive and get through these holidays. But before we talk more about that, I'd like to share just a few truths about grief with you, because our culture doesn't fully understand grief. It can be a taboo subject with many people, and so you may be carrying around with you some myths or misunderstandings about grief and what it really is. I want to begin by telling you that grief is not a problem to be solved, and that grief is not a disorder to be cured. Grief is not just feeling sad. I'm sure you're feeling many feelings, and these are all normal parts of grief. You will be feeling feelings that are dependent on you and your personality, and also your relationship to your loved one who is with you this year. Grief is normal, and grief is natural, and grief is necessary. Now, I don't have to tell you how hard grief is, but I'm sure as you're learning, grief is even harder during the holiday season. There are a lot of reasons for this. We'll only be able to cover a few of them today. But one of the main reasons is that you simply can't escape all the things around you, the sights, the smells, the sounds that are reminding you not only that the holidays are coming, but that can bring back memories that you have of past holidays that included your loved one. Now, these memories could be happy memories. They could be memories of times that are not happy. Whatever they are, they're going to intensify the feelings that you're feeling. In fact, you're going to find that during this holiday season, everything about your grief is going to feel harder and bigger and stronger. It's as if your grief were under a magnifying glass and a spotlight were shining on all the feelings that you're feeling. Add to this the cultural expectations that surround the holidays. We often take these expectations and place them on ourselves. For instance, feeling that your holidays have to be perfect, like you need to have a Hallmark Christmas. this just isn't going to happen. Your Christmas is not going to be perfect. Christmases past probably were not perfect, but now they certainly won't be. Things are going to be different for you this year, and you're not sure what to expect, and you're not sure what will happen. You might be wondering, will others remember your loved one? Will their name be mentioned? You can find yourself also being resentful and jealous of people who are with their loved ones and who are having happy times. You can also find yourself with well-meaning people who care for you and just want you to feel better, but they will say things that are hurtful to you. For instance, you may have people tell you, "Well, I know you'd feel better if you could just get some Christmas spirit." I want you to know that not only is this hurtful, but it's not true. Pretending to be happy and pretending to enjoy yourself is not going to make it so. You could be dreading the holidays. You could be feeling out of control, and you could be feeling like you're just struggling to survive. If any of these things, or even all of them, are happening to you, I want to assure you that this is very common. I want to reassure you that you can survive these holidays, and now we're going to talk about that. I'm going to talk to you about 2 key things that I want you to remember and keep with you as you approach and go through the holidays this year. The first one is that the anticipation of the day is most always worse than the actual day itself. Now, that's not to say that you're not going to feel more unhappy and more lonely than you have been feeling. The days leading up to and the day of the holidays are going to be filled with those emotions and others that are going to be very intense for you. I want to remind you not to pretend all the time. You need to feel these emotions, and as they come to you, feel them and then let them go. Pretending takes much more energy than allowing yourself to feel these feelings. And this is a time of year when you need to conserve your energy. During the holidays, your energy level is going to be lower than it normally is. So please face your feelings and do not apologize for them. As tears come, it's important to allow yourself to cry. Know that tears are healing. So you need to allow yourself to cry and allow yourself to mourn in your own way. By the same token, please allow others to mourn in their own way too. And it's important to set aside time when you can be alone or with someone that you trust. Time when you can allow yourself to access and release these feelings in a safe and healthy way. It's important, so important, to face and acknowledge your feelings as they are. Remember, the key to reducing your emotions and these feelings is to get what is inside of you outside. Now, the second thing I want to talk to you about, and again, I want you to carry it with you and remember, is that you need to make specific plans well in advance of the day. This will give you structure and make you feel that you have some control in this chaos of your grief. This allows you to set your own boundaries, and it is important that you not only have a plan, but that you have a backup plan, just in case you're not able to follow through with your first plan. You need to have this flexibility, and others will understand if you're not able to follow through with your original plans or if you need to leave early. That's okay too. People are going to understand, and don't worry about that. It's important that as you make these plans that you enlist the help of someone that you trust who can be with you on the day and watching over you and caring for you. You need to work in advance to establish a high sign, like say a tug on your ear or a key word or a key phrase that if you feel the need to get out quickly, they will be watching and listening and ready to respond if that happens. If it does, they know to take charge and take control and get you out. Now, before you go in and as you're arriving, it's important to remember to park in a place where you won't be blocked in so that you can make an easier exit. And as invitations come to you, know that it's okay to make tentative commitments. One thing that you can say to others is, I hope you know that this is a hard time for me and I'm taking one day at a time. I will come if I can. Believe me, they will understand. Know that your body and your mind are doing a hard job. They're trying to heal, and that this takes a lot of energy. And this is a time when you need to be careful to care for yourself and conserve your energy. So keep things simple. Pace yourself and know your limitations. Please do not include anything that is not necessary, and don't force yourself to do anything that you don't want to do. You need to lower your self-expectations. Give yourself the gift of grace this year. Please don't pretend, and don't try to make things the same as they always have been. Now, having said that, if you have children in your immediate family and they're part of your life, children do need some sense of continuity and the sameness. So if that's the case for you, you need to enlist the help of others to make that happen. This could be a time when you can make new holiday traditions that memorialize and remember your loved one. And this can be very helpful and healing to you. And it can be whatever you want to do. So just some suggestions might be to purchase special memorial ornaments for your tree or for decorating your home. You can light a candle in memory of your loved one. You can set an empty place at the table. You can volunteer at a favorite organization or even make a donation in their name. Whatever you choose to do is up to you, but know that remembering and honoring your loved one can be very helpful and healing, and it can be something that you can carry forward in the years to come. Another thing to consider is that you may want to share happy memories of your loved one at an event when you're with others. If you do want to do this, it's important to plan in advance and to include the people who will be there. Let them know of your intention to share these memories and ask them to come prepared with a happy memory also to share of your loved one. It's so important to say their name. Now, if faith is part of your life, you may find that during the holidays your faith is refreshed, or you may find your faith is growing. And if so, I encourage you to attend special services and programs at your church or churches in your area. Faith can be such a comfort, especially during this time. I want to remind you that the people who have the most difficulty are the people who don't plan and prepare in advance. So please, be intentional this holiday season. Plan in advance, and please do not just let these holidays happen to you. It's important to practice self-care. You need to be with others who support you, and you need to allow them to help care for you. If you can find a way to practice gratitude every day, that can be also very helpful. Find just at least one small thing that you can be grateful for each day, and you may find that your attitude begins to shift in a more positive direction, even if it's very small. But you do need to know, and I want to tell you, that a grateful heart heals faster. So to wrap up, I just want you to remember these things. That anticipation of the day is most often worse than the day itself. You need to plan and have a plan and a backup plan in advance of the day. Shifting this allows you to focus your attention away from dreading the holidays and more toward being in control. Give yourself the gift of grace this year. Be with people who are supportive and who are helping you, and practice self-care. Remember, grief is normal. Grief is natural and grief is necessary. God bless you today, throughout this season, and in the days and years to come. Grieve well.